Alright, so here we are on lesson 16 from ratios to rates. It's the first lesson of our new packet here, so we should all be on page 1. The first thing we're going to talk about here is called unit rate. Alright, and it says that ratio can be transformed to rates and unit rates. And money is always in the numerator and time is always in the denominator. Alright, this is important. That's why it's emboldened with stars. Alright, so unit rate essentially is how much for one of the item we're talking about. Okay, so that's what unit rate is. So we're going to look at this example here. It says Diet Cola was on sale last week. It cost $10 for every 4 packs of Diet Cola. How much does 1 pack cost? So we're looking for the unit rate. Alright, you guys are going to need your calculator for this, so go ahead and have that out. So we're going back to equivalent ratios here and using that standard algorithm. So we're going to set up a blank one first. Alright, and on the side we are comparing money and packs, right? Packs of soda. Okay, they told us that it cost $10. I'll do it in a different color here. $10 for 4 packs. We want to know how much would 1 cost. So we're looking for the 1 down here in packs, and we are looking for this number up top. That's our question mark. So now, instead of multiplying, we're now going to be dividing almost always. So we're asking ourselves, 4 divided by what gives us 1? And we know 4 divided by 4 gives us 1. So we're going to do the same thing on the top. We are going to divide by 4. So this is where you need your calculator to do 10 divided by 4. So if I plug that in, 10 divided by 4 gives us 2.5. So over here, this equals 2.5. Alright, but then we need to remember that this is money. So 1 pack would cost $2.50, right? We always have to put that 0. And that is our answer for that example. Alright. So we're going to keep going here. Number 1 says, Tegan went to Gamer Realm to buy new video games. Gamer Realm was having a sale, $65 for 4 video games. He bought 3 games for himself and 1 game for his friend Diego, but Tegan does not know how much Diego owes him for the 1 game. It's asking what is the unit price of the video games and what is the rate unit. Alright, so first we're going to set up our blank proportion here. This is what we're going to do every time. And we are comparing money and games. Those are the 2 things. So we know that it was $65. Alright, so I put the $65 here. And that was for 4 video games. So now they're asking us how much for 1 game. And we don't know how much it costs. So again, we're doing the same thing here. We're asking 4 divided by what gives us 1, and we know that's dividing by 4. So we're going to do the same thing on the top. We are going to divide by 4. Alright, and you're going to need your calculator. So we're going to plug that in here. And we're going to do 65 divided by 4. Alright, I'm going to write that up to the side. 65 divided by 4 is 16.25. So Diego owes him, we can write, Diego owes Tegan $16.25. Alright, and that is our answer for that one. Okay. Number 2 says at Walmart, 10 pencils cost $1.29, and at Target, 15 pencils cost $1.85. And now they're asking us who has the better buy. Alright, and this is something your parents probably do when they go to the store all the time. They're trying to figure out which one's the better deal. So we are comparing, I'm going to label them. We're going to do Walmart. And we're going to do Target. Alright, so for Walmart, we're going to draw in our blank proportion here. And we are comparing money to pencils. So at Walmart, 10 pencils, it's going on the bottom, costs $1.29. Alright, and they want to know how much for one. So one pencil, and this is our question mark. So we're asking ourselves, 10 divided by what gives us 1, and we know we're going to divide by 10. We're going to do the same thing up here. Alright, go ahead and use your calculator if you need to. Some of you might not. 1.29 divided by 10 gives us 0.129. Okay, so 0.129, but we are talking about money. Alright, and that 9 is going to bump up the 2. So we know here this is 30 cents a pen, or not 30, sorry, got ahead of myself. This is 13 cents a pencil. Alright, 13 cents per pencil. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing for Target over here. We're going to put in our blank proportion. Still comparing money and pencils. Alright, but at Target, 15 pencils cost $1.85. And we want to know how much for one. So again, here we're going to divide by 15. And we're looking for this one. We're going to divide by 15 up here. So in the calculator, we do 1.85 divided by 15. And that gives us 0.12, right? Because the 3 would round us down. So this is 12 cents per pencil. So now we want to look and see who has the better deal. And we see that Target is cheaper per pencil. So we would say Target has the better buy. Alright, and that is our answer for that one. So we're going to flip on over to the next page, get through these, almost there. Alright, number 2 says 4 football fans took turns driving the distance from New York to Oklahoma to see a big game. Each driver set the cruise control during his leg of the trip, enabling him to travel at a constant speed. The men changed drivers each time they stopped for gas and recorded their driving times and distances in the table below. Okay, so cruise control is kind of when you set it at a speed, you can press a button and you can take your foot off the gas and you just steer the wheel instead of pressing the pedals. Alright, part A says what two quantities are being compared. If we look at our table, we are comparing distance, which is miles, and time, which is hours. Alright, part B says what is the ratio of the two quantities for Andre's car? What is the associated ratio? Alright, or the associated rate. So rate, remember, is per 1. So Andre's ratio, distance to miles, is 208. Alright, so I have the 208 over, if we look at the time, it's 4 hours. Okay, so now the rate is per 1, alright, that's what we talked about. So I'm going to rewrite our 208 over 4. Alright, so we need to simplify to get to 1 hour on the bottom. Okay, so that means we're going to divide them both by 4. And if you look in the calculator, 208 divided by 4 is 52. So Andre's rate is 52. And you can just put MPH for miles per hour. Okay? Part C says to answer the same two questions in Part B for the other 3 drivers. So Mateo, now we're looking at the table. His ratio is 456 to 8. Alright. And the next person we have 300 to 6. And then Grayson finally we have 265 to 5. Alright, and those all came from the table. So now for the rate, we're going to rewrite them all. So 456 over 8. And now we're looking to get to 1 hour on the bottom. So that means we're going to divide by 8 here and on the top as well. So we get 57 over 1. Alright, I'm going to do Janae's in a different color here. So here we have 300 over 6 Alright, and we're trying to get to 1 again, so that means we are dividing by 6 both times, so we would get 50 over 1. And then Grayson here, we're going to do 265 over 5, and again we're trying to get to 1 on the bottom. That means we're dividing by 5 both times, so on the top, when we put in the calculator, we get 53. Alright, so now for each deriver it says circle the unit rate and put a box around the rate unit. So I'm going to color coordinate them here. For Mateo, we had 57 miles per hour. Alright, it says circle the unit rate, which would be 57. And then the rate unit is miles per hour, so we're putting a box around that. Alright, for Janae, we had 50 miles per hour. So that means we would circle the 50 and put a box around the miles per hour. Alright. And then for Grayson, I have in green here, we had 53 miles per hour. So I would circle the 53 and put a box around the miles per hour. Alright, and we are going to stop here for today, and we're going to do the next example in class all together tomorrow.